in June, I walked away from a $155,000 a year salary. I call that a corporate container. I walked away in full pursuit of my calling, faith expansion, and purpose. And it wasn't easy. Hasn't been easy, but it's been one of the most satisfying and just one of the most amazing experiences of my life. So before I get started and dive into what I'm building, I want to explain to you kind of where I've been, right? So I come from a media background. I worked in radio and television, so Kid Craddock in the Morning Show, Univision. I put programming on the air in Master Control, and I did that. I did that as early on as high school, my high school years. And so I went into radio and television. I went into media. I worked for KTVT, Channel 11, CBS. I could drop names, but I'm not going to drop that. The only name I'm going to drop is Jesus Christ, because He is all things for me. And then after I started having a family, I went into tech because they paid more money. I went to high school. I didn't go to college. I do have a diploma, but I don't have a college degree. And so I had to, because I'm first generation Hispanic family here, right? My parents didn't really push us for universities and colleges. And so I did it the only way Susie knew how, is to climb corporate ladders, go for the big titles, go for the income, go for the mentorships, go for the fellowships also. And so that's how I've been programmed my 25 years 35 years of employment, right, and career. At the very height of my career, I made some poor choices. And I'm not going to dive into that too much, but I will say I became an addict and I became homeless because of my choices. And for 9 months, I lived out of my Uber car. And what I thought was a setback, right? I was like, God, I make $125 an hour. How can I be an Uber driver? God's plans are always to better us, right? And not to harm us. And so what God started doing in my life, in my car, as an Uber driver and a Lyft driver, I started connecting with people. Something that I had never done because I sat in behind the same desk, the same monitor for 25 years, seeing the same faces. And it was all about titles. It was all about income, status, all these things that we identify with. And God started stripping that identity off of me. And in my car, I started sharing my sorrows with my passengers, and then I quickly shut up when I started hearing their stories and their struggles and their testimonies, and I was like, man, this is too good not to share. Like, yes, God started working in me, and my addiction started to. I mean, He snapped my addiction off of me in an instant. That's another story. But what I started connecting with passengers, I started hearing the most profound stories, and it's in that journey that I started. I started the. I had it up already. Sorry. I started this YouTube channel. It's called Susie Gordon Joyrides. And here's where I share my passenger stories. Before, though, I was blogging about them. And I was like, no, this is too good to share, right? I have to share these stories. And then as I started hearing more and more stories, I was like, there's God's doing something here, right? He's doing something. I just didn't know what yet, but I knew He was doing something. So long story short, when a passenger of mine became my boss. I went back to corporate America. I was no longer homeless, right? So I believe God led him to me in my car. My car is my sanctuary. My car is my altar. My car is my war room. My car is my prayer closet. My car has become a moving conference room, church service, worship center for me and for passengers. Over 3,000 passengers have heard my story, and I have heard their story. And so because I'm a solutionist, I was a director of strategy and delivery. I was an agile transformation coach. I was a scrum master in technology. I said, God, what do I do with all these skills, God, after I walked away from my corporate job? And He said, look within, right? And so I built Mega Mission Media because I love to be creative. I love, storytelling. And so Mega Mission Media is the production house, if you will. Now it's just me, so, but on this level, I started building websites, and where's my client? This is my client, one of my clients, and I was like, a passenger of mine told me about Claude, right? So again, my car has it. It's not about networking anymore. It's about connecting in my car. Like again, what I thought was a setback, God said, no, this is going to be how you start to evolve as my identity started to grow in Christ, and how I started to connect with people. And so a passenger of mine told me about Claude. I went home and I built my client his website using Claude. And then the other thing that I do over here, and I've kind of jumped, I skipped a lot of my story, but let me back up a little bit. When I was doing the joyrides, and then I went to go back to work in corporate America, um, I left corporate America because after hearing stories, after having connection with people, come on in. This is my right hand over here. After hearing stories and after connecting with people, I couldn't sit behind a monitor anymore. I knew God was calling me for bigger purpose, bigger missions, um, and I knew that He was placing something in me. So I walked away, and immediately when I walked away, I wrote this blueprint book. Sorry, this is a blueprint. As I was speaking to my passengers and I was seeing that there was a need in my car, I wrote a blueprint, which is this is called the Freedom Journey Faith Expansion, because I was on a faith expansion journey when I left. So I needed something to go along with my Bible, right? With my guide. And so I wrote this. You can buy it on Amazon. The Freedom Journey Faith Expansion is a 365-day devotional. I needed something daily, not just on Sunday, right? So I needed something daily to go along with my learning, my surrender. And in my car, I started giving out, and y'all can have one of these if you want. They're called baggies of hope. So I tell people, I used to buy baggies of dope. Now I give out baggies of hope. And so over 3,000 passengers have received baggies of hope, which have mustard seeds in the green baggie. And if you know anything about addiction, you know those baggies are life changing, either good or bad. And so, because of the trajectory that my life used to carry with those little baggies, now I slap Satan in the face and I say, "There's a mustard seed in there," and this is what I give out daily when I'm in my car. And so again, everything that God is building in me it's like He's teaching me that my life is not mine, right? My life is a blueprint journey for other people, which is where so Mega Mission came in because again I branched out and I started doing things that I knew God had given me creativity, He'd given me gifts, and I wanted to start using those for business and for community growth. And then on a 6 mile walk one day on the Trinity trails, I kept hearing seek and find, seek and find, seek and find. And I was like, well, I don't have my phone on me, God. Like, what are you trying to tell me? So I went to my car and I wrote that down. I went to my house after my walk and I sat at my desk and my Bible was open. And right there it said Matthew 7, I don't remember which one it is, it says, seek and you shall find. Um, Ask and you shall receive, knock and the door shall be open. So I knew God was trying to tell me something, and that's how Seeker of Story it was birthed. What I realized that as a founder, we can network, we can exchange cards, but when I needed a mentor for how to launch my business, there wasn't one readily available. And so, yes, I could call people, but and then I can start interviewing people as well, right? But I was like, what am I going to do with this information? And if I need this, I know that there's other people out there that need this too. So similarly, in my car, how I was providing solutions to my passengers by handing out baggies of hope, devotionals, and Bibles, which is what I still do because I still drive. Um, my brain is wired to find solutions to now a global, um, you know, issue problem. Because if I'm a founder, or if I'm just somebody in transition, if I'm somebody that wants to leave my Walmart job, but I don't know how to pivot from this Walmart job, or I get let go from tech, right? Where do I go to find my next step besides God, right? So Seeker of Story is a platform where founders submit their blueprint and their story, and I'm going to pull an example up. So this is really the heart of everything that I just talked about. Okay, um, so on this platform, and I want to thank Abhishek, who has literally taken the vision, the mission that God gave me, and has just ran with it. Abhishek he heard my pitch at the Arlington 1 million Cubs, and he's like, I want in. So I have to thank him greatly and tremendously because he's taken everything and has just run with it. So imagine you're at Goodwill, right? You're at the Goodwill store and you come and you dump all your stuff that's excess and surplus. You don't want it anymore, but somebody else is going to get that surplus, right? Same thing as with Seeker of Story, except we have no paywalls, we have no gatekeeping, we have no subscriptions. This is completely funded by founders. By that I mean donations, support, because it'll grow to community giving, also community outreach also. So you go to our platform, Seeker Story, and you say, I used to be a Walmart associate. Now I want to be a podcaster. You type it in. And so we're still working on some of the kinks here.
Last week's is not ready yet.
Okay. All right. So I'll just type in what I think it still comes up. And so you type in what kind of mentor you're looking for, right? And so I'm gonna pick on Carrie for a minute. She's actually a 1MC organizer at the Fort Worth location. So she actually has a powerful story. She was in tech. She got laid off 3 times, and she had to pivot. And in this profile, we call this a becoming profile page. In this profile page, you'll see her story, which is on YouTube under the Seeker of Story platform. So again, on media, right? Programming on the air. God's tying everything back, make coming full circle. And not only is she being broadcast on YouTube, but her story is also being broadcast on all podcasting platforms, Apple Podcast, Spotify. So it's almost like an advertisement, a gem for the founder, because their story gets shared, and plus it's an authentic way of sharing your story. So I do this in my car because everything happens in my car, and so we go on a ride. This isn't a staged Uber ride. Okay. And oh my goodness! Yeah, I love that. And we go all over the city so people can see. So she talks about her company, how she started it, and then here the meat of it is that in the profile, we talk about what they used to be, who I used to be, who she used to be, what she's building, why she's building it, and how. The most important piece is the how. The how will give a seeker. Now, we don't have followers on this platform, we have seekers. This portion here will tell the seeker how to go start their own venture. So this founder automatically becomes a motivational speaker. They become a speaker of life to the seeker. And that's the intent of this platform. There's no gatekeeping, and it's as much as the founder wants to share, right? But the intent of this platform, because again, I was homeless. And so you already know that this platform will tie back to homeless outreach once we're up and running and operational. That my goal is, if I can teach a homeless person how to use their phone to monetize, how to start up a bit, how to get on an Uber account, and start doing rideshare. And so you'll see my story in here too. But I love to share your story, your blueprint. And so the purpose of Mega Mission is to be the creative agency for any and all of the video production, even founder business solutions, because now I have Abhishek and he does a lot of that. And so that is the for-profit, the nonprofit. We're like we said, we're just now building it. We have founders, and we actually have meetings in the pipeline this week. And so I trust God that if He gave me this mission, and it's a mega one, right? I'm not here anymore for accolades and titles and income and like that's all nice, but I've already had that. Now my assignment is very clear. My mission is very clear, and it's a God given one. So I'm operating on full faith, like I have been. He's been training me to do that, and and so yeah, that is a platform, and that's my story. So thank you so much for letting me share that with you. And if you want to be on the platform, just let me know. I'd love to share your story. And again, I started doing this from a rideshare perspective. So the only way I can describe it is there is a piece of paper, right? I'm gonna take a piece of paper, and over here, I was doing it in surrender, in my journey of surrender, right? Not really knowing what I was doing. I was doing it with passengers. Now that I've been fully surrendered and submitted for a year, now God said, okay, let's fold this paper and let's do this on a global level for a global solution, right? If you look at unemployment stats these days, that's where this is going to become more and more tangible, more important. So I want to thank you all for letting me share my story and my journey. And yeah, if you have a founder blueprint that want to share it on the platform, just let me know. Thank you.
Questions? So this is like how I built this.
Yes.
It's like how I built this. And the founders pay to
Yes.
be on it.
Yeah.
Are you willing to share how much the
Yeah.
founders need to pay?
So because we're in growth process right now, I had started. I'll tell you what my lawyer client paid. He paid $2,500 for a whole package, but that's not what I'm offering. You and I can talk. I've done as low as 150. I've done as low as 250. I've done as 1,000. So it's really what you as a founder are in a position to give back, right? My positioning is I have we have to pay ourselves too, and we have to sustain a living. And so again, it's whatever God puts in your heart.
Do you accept founders who are just starting?
Yes.
Like my business just started last September.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, there is a seeker out there. Even though because my blueprint's not done either, right? But if you have a story, you have a blueprint of what you're using. Because again, think of this like a mini TV station, and you're doing advertising even for your company, right? Because your company is going to be here, and then the vendors that you use will be on this platform also. So we can talk pricing, or we can talk whatever you feel is in your heart. um, I will tell you this. I have a business entity for this. It's not 501(c)(3) yet. Okay, so but that is my goal. Thank you.
I got a question. So yeah, two businesses. The eventual nonprofit is Seeker of Story,
Hmm.
and then the for-profit is Mega Meet Mission Media.
Correct.
Okay. I want to first give you some feedback on just like presentation. I think it was great. You did a good job explaining your story. I would say if you're ever like I don't know like while you're doing the pitches, but if you're ever in a situation to where you need to tailor in a specific point of time, it would be really helpful for you to do a slide deck and kind of
Okay.
put your visuals in there, even when it comes from like your website where you're showcasing the features.
Yes.
That way, you don't have to worry about like technology issues, the wrong tab.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
clear images, you know it's going to be there, and you can make sure that you're getting your point across
Okay.
in a concise way. And it can help keep you on track as far as like where you are with telling a story, so it can be like even more effective. So we did hear everything, but if you ever need to like have it like in a certain time frame,
Yes.
the slides will definitely help you stay on track to keep it in that limit.
Thank
Because you
you.
did go a good amount over 6 minutes, which is perfectly fine for this setting. But just in case you have another setting where you need it to be more condensed, I would recommend that you put it in a slide deck, and
Okay.
that way you can kind of control it a little more.
Yes. Thank you.
I did have a question about Seeker Story. So you want it to be a for-profit, or sorry, a nonprofit, and then somebody signs up. to be a founder on this, they just pay a fee to be on it, and then is there any like updates over time, or is it just a one-time thing?
Yeah, so and again, we're still kind of working through some of that. What did we launch like
Few days.
oh, not even a week ago, right? Or last week, I did the launch. So we're still working on some of those kinks. I want it to be nonprofit because that's what God is telling me. I've heard feedback, about subscriptions and this and that. So I don't. Yeah. So, and I'm sorry, your question.
It was are there so they like Carrie submitted and she's on there. Does her blueprint ever get updated over time as she continues her journey, or is it
Yes.
just that one time?
Yes, yeah, it can be updated, and I think we have. He's building like for us the admin panel for it, but we'll also be able to build something for the end user to update their profile, and so that's kind of where the pricing comes. It becomes tricky because it is a platform of advertisement, but it's more importantly a platform for the seeker. So I'm trying to use my discernment to delineate, what we can make available to the end user in terms of the founder and keep it nonprofit. So some of the kinks that we still have to work
No, I
through.
think it's a good idea. We can have after 5 years,
Yeah.
another podcast just so you can see how the life changed.
Yes, and
So,
even a year, maybe even a year into it, we can do like a follow up to their page. The goal is that again, somebody who's in transition can go to this platform and seek any blueprint for anything and find somebody else's blueprint who's been there, done that.
ultimately, we also want to build a community of
Yes.
people which will get more eyeballs on the website and to have more people looking through the content and learning from it. So we're looking to have online communities and offline meetups like once a month
Yeah.
situation. So that will increase learning and also the founders. It makes sense for founders to be on the platform.
I love the follow ups and the storytelling. So it's
Yeah.
all of us, all storytelling. Yes, ma'am.
So as a seeker that goes online, they see Carrie's page, for example, do you just read about it? Is there a way to connect with the founder? How does that piece work for the seeker?
So in the intake form, we're building that piece to it because some of these founders may or may not have the time to, right?
Yeah.
So one of the options is, do you want to be contacted, or are you willing to be contacted? So we're taking that feedback back, and thank you for that because this is like the second time that I've heard. Well, I just presented last week, but that is going to be one of the options for the intake form on
They
the
will be
founder.
able to
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
connect to the founders.
Yeah. I mean, you could anyways because their website's listed on there as well, right? But specifically for mentoringship, that's a different layer, right? That's a different layer. I don't have control over because you'll have access to their website.
I'm wondering if you should have two separate presentations. One for your secret story with your slides, and then a different time, one for your mega mission media.
Yeah. I'm feeling that as well. Even last night I was running water, and that's when God always speaks to me, is when I run water. So I don't know why, but that's when he talks to me the most. And he did say to me, seeker of story, lead with seeker of story. And I should have, but I'm hearing that and I'm feeling that more.
I understand this clearly because this is like how I built this.
Yeah. And so, part of my heart was that I didn't want to minimize the mega mission because it's so in order for us to do Seeker of Story, there's heavy lifting on the back end, right? And then there's heavy lifting on the video production. So I think I need to mention that, but maybe not mention that a lot. Just mention that that's the media company that we use. Or if, when we grow, we'll be able to use some of y'all's media companies as well. I don't want to be doing the video production. I want to do what God called me to do, and that's to be on this mission, and so, I'm open. I'm open. Seeker of Story is the platform, though. Seeker of Story is the reason why I live today.
My suggestion would be kind of like you said, like if you want to, mention the media, that's fine. I believe you really don't have to because you are the walking example. So if somebody want to connect with you, they can see that. Like that doesn't have to be in your presentation
Yeah.
at all. Because
Thank
like
you
you
for
say,
that.
you saying seeking you shall find.
Yeah.
You know, it's right there. So if you want answers, they're seeking, so they're gonna find that.
Yeah.
But this right here, this is your all in all. This
Yeah.
is your everything. This is what's gonna move people to
Yes.
want to be a part of what you're doing and pour back into the media. Like I said, it's powered by Mega Media, so you don't even have to say it. It's right there,
Yeah.
right there in the slide.
Yeah.
So this is
Thank you.
it. This is it. So
Thank you.
that's it. Anybody got questions? Anybody else? I guess the one question we have: what as a 1 million cut community can we do for you?
If I had one ask, it's to spread the word, and to connect with me on LinkedIn, because I'll be posting people's stories on there, and just give me feedback and support me on the platforms. I'm not big about followers, because I only follow Christ, but I know I get that that's how we operate these days, right? And that's what I'll ask, is that when you see me post, connect with me on LinkedIn, comment on this platform so they can gain momentum and people can start seeking you, because you're founders. And when you're ready, let me put your story on on our platform. Yeah. And I want to thank Abhishek. He heard me. He walked up to me, and I've experienced other people who are like, I want to help, but automatically right away threw out an invoice in front of me. And I was like, wait a minute, let me get this off the ground first. And he's been so gracious enough to believe and have faith also, and whipped everything up with nothing. And so I want to be able to reward him and give back to him. So,
Awesome. Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you. Yes, and you can find this on Amazon too if you want the blueprint. It's a 365-day devotional. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I will take that feedback because I've been feeling that as well. And you're welcome to take baggies of hope, please.
Breaking that down, we're just gonna go for the spotlight section, and it's really just like if there's anything that you have going on that you want to share, any events, programs, anything that you want to talk about, now's the time that you can share them.